Now to Switzerland, where political and business leaders are considering their options after the United States has slapped one of its highest tariff rates on the Alpine country. Switzerland now has to contend with a flat 39% charge on its exports to the US. That's more than double the EU's 15% and nearly 4 times the UK's 10% tariff. Switzerland's Tech Sector Association has described the levies as a horror scenario that threatens jobs across the country's export-driven economy. Luxury watches, industrial machinery, Swiss cheeses and chocolates have all been hit with the steep levies in the US, which accounts for nearly 20% of Swiss exports. Nanette Heckler-Faderb is an analyst at the Swiss bank Lombard Odier. She joins us from Zurich. Welcome to the day. Could you give us a sense of the challenges these new US tariffs will cause the Swiss economy?
For now, they are relatively limited, those challenges. We are estimating that it's probably going to cost the Swiss economy in 2025 maybe 0.2% of percentage points of GDP. And if there is a resolution, then in 2026 there might actually be not many effects at all.
Right. And if there's no resolution?
If there's no resolution, there might be some transition phase. We would certainly then have to revise our 1% GDP growth in 2026 a bit lower. But for now, Switzerland is really quite well equipped to deal with a transitory shock. It has a lot of fiscal headroom in particular, and has, of course, had the experience of other shocks before, in particular stronger currencies.
OK. And how important is the US market to the Swiss economy?
It's a meaningful market. It represents 6% of Swiss GDP, the exports to the US. And in terms of the total exports of Switzerland, the US are accounting for about 13%. So it is a very meaningful market, and it is very important that Switzerland can either diversify or find resolutions, for sure.
Right. So the talking between Donald Trump and the president, that's still going on, is it?
Diplomatic efforts are taking place. They are very important for, of course, the trading relations with the US specifically. But separately to that, the diplomatic efforts with other countries have also been stepped up. And as far as Switzerland is concerned, there is also the measures to support, the domestic measures to support the economy. These have been deployed as well.
I wonder, did Switzerland's political and business elite misread Donald Trump?
I'm not sure whether we can say it misread Donald Trump, but Swiss politicians and certainly diplomats are very accustomed to work in structured institutional frameworks. They're very respectful of rules, and they're not very accustomed to persons-related negotiations. So I guess where there has been perhaps just a misstep is to realize how important it was to have a direct negotiation with Donald Trump himself, and this is what the learning is.
Right, and that didn't happen. Because my understanding is that there have been conversations, and I see here a quote from the US president of the Swiss president, Karin Keller-Sutter. The woman was nice, but she didn't want to listen.
I guess there have been conversations a long time ago, before July, and before actually a draft was being prepared by the two negotiating sides. And then there was a period where this draft was in some sense left for reaction from the US until this reaction came, and it was too late. So I guess there is a little bit of this negotiation process here that may not have gone to the best interest of Switzerland.
What leverage does Switzerland have in these talks?
I'm not sure that we can speak of leverage. I mean, the Swiss government has been very outspoken to say that we would not in Switzerland apply any countermeasures. And, if you're a small open economy, what's the sort of leverage that you're having against a big, large economy? But there are certainly changes that Switzerland can do to its trade policy. I'll be very specific. A very big chunk of the Swiss trade surplus with the United States in goods is made up of gold exports, refined gold, and so forth. And these gold exports, they have actually jumped in recent years, since 2024, to unusually high levels. This may have many circumstances, but if the sticking point is, as our president has said, the size of the trade surplus of Switzerland with the U.S., the Swiss might actually just regulate that Swiss exports of gold to the U.S. in a very different way. There could be an export tax. There could be a ban of that export, redirecting the exports to other countries. And then you would actually have already 12.5 billion of goods surplus that goes away.
Except that my understanding was that gold and pharmaceuticals had been excluded from these massive tariffs, from these 39%.
Oh, this is what the U.S. is charging, but nobody is preventing Switzerland from disincentivizing its gold trade with the U.S.
OK, thanks for talking us through that, Nanette. Nanette Heckler-Feiderb from Swiss Bank at Lombard Odier. Thank you so much.
Thank you.